How's it going, guys? RealRadman here, back at it again with another video. We have to review Pocono. Don't know why this race has two dates. I just don't understand it. And they're both in the summer, so I really don't get it. But let's go ahead and review this race. So it did not take long to get to our first caution. Kenseth underneath Jimmie Johnson gets loose, and a lot of drivers were involved in this, including Kenseth, Almirola, Dillon, Michael McDowell, Danica Patrick, etc. I think there was a couple others that were involved in this wreck. And you have a cool shot from Kyle Larson and actually being able to see what a driver sees right behind the wreck. I love that shot so much. It's wonderful. Deja vu, I just been in this place before, higher on the street. But yeah, that's the wreck in the beginning of stage one, and at that point I was actually thinking to myself, like, hey, maybe we're gonna be in for another Brickyard race. But then I realized that Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. had the fastest cars, and then yeah, that hope quickly died. Now, these races are really hard for me to review because the race itself is mainly strategy. Everything that happens is pretty much strategy. If you're racing another car, you're not really racing that car, you're racing the strategy to get in front of that car. So for me to get into how the race went down and try to cover all the strategies, I can't. It's too much. There's way too much strategy that goes along. How many times have I said the word strategy? Take a shot every time. But basically, the end of stage one, you race it like normal. So, the fastest car probably will win stage one, depending on how it works. But Kyle Busch goes ahead and wins stage one. It's stage two that I wanted to get into a little bit because the end of stage one, nothing really happened except for some strategy here and there. Like, there will be the occasional car that will stay out as long as possible. Like in stage one, it was Matt Kenseth. He pitted with around 3 to go and was able to basically make up a lot of track position that way. Because remember, he wrecked at the beginning of the race, but he got no damage, so he was pretty much good to go. And he made up some of that track position. Stage two is the interesting one because at these tracks, like road courses or Pocono or a track that's just big enough where you can pit and not lose a lap, you pretty much have a choice in stage two. But on lap 57, Jimmie Johnson and Kasey Kahne got into it, and Jimmie goes for a spin, hits the wall. That's the end of his race. Now, there's two different things that happen here that confused me a little bit. NBC actually said that the spotter told Jimmie that Kasey was there, but then Jimmie in his interview said that Kasey pretty much finished him off after another event happened that made him slide up. So I don't know what's happened there, and Jimmie made sure he stated it wasn't intentional, but Kasey did nothing wrong in this incident, and I think if true, Jimmie Johnson should have heard a spotter, and apparently NBC said that his spotter did say the 5 was on the inside, so don't know what happened there. It had to be some miscommunication because Jimmie apparently knew Kasey was down there. According to his interview, he knew, so didn't make sense in my opinion. But yeah, that was at the end of Jimmie's race, and that kind of sucks for him. Never good for teammates to collide, a la F1 race this morning with Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. It's never good. So we get to the end of stage two, and the best way I can explain it is we have about 7 cars that are in like a 4-second gap. And these cars consist of Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, and they're doing their thing, and Clint Bowyer. They're doing their thing, and basically what happens is at the end of stage two, you have to set yourself up for the end of the race. So the stages are 50 laps, and 60 laps. But the pit window is very delicate here, and you can basically, you have to pit as soon as you get into the window, so you can finish the race out. And if you know a caution's coming out at the end of stage two, and you know if you pit before the caution comes out that you would stay on the lead lap, then it's pretty obvious that you want to pit. So most of the leaders pit. Kyle Busch, Truex, Hamlin, Kenseth, Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, they all pit. Clint Bowyer stays out. And Clint Bowyer, because of his points situation, you kind of understand what he had to do there. He had to take the points and kind of sacrifice where he was running. He was running third at the time. So was he the fastest car? No. Kyle Busch was. Denny Hamlin had a fast car. Truex had a fast car. But Clint Bowyer had to take the points due to where he is in the points. So Clint Bowyer wins stage two. And then you have a pretty odd rundown of stage two because the running order was all messed up. Basically, a lot of drivers sacrificed the points in order to get a better position for stage three. So we go into stage three. Pretty much an anticlimactic finish to this race. The third stage was very dull, to say the least. Nothing really happened. I should probably touch on, I think this happened in stage 2. I should touch on this though. Kyle Larson, he had an issue with the car having a mechanical problem, so he ended up out of the race. That was back in stage 2, but stage 3, there was just nothing that really occurred. Kyle Busch, well, there were things that occurred. I don't know how to explain it because these races are really hard to review when it comes to strategy, but there multiple cars pitting at multiple times. When do you pit? When do you not pit? Who's trying to get a break on a caution? One driver that had a lot of issues in the 3rd stage was Joey Logano. Oh my God, he had a speeding penalty. Then he had a penalty for fueling the car while serving the pit road speeding penalty, because when he was gonna serve the pit road speeding penalty, he locked up his tires, having to pit. He had like way too many issues, and that destroyed his race. And now Logano is pretty much in a must-win situation for the points. I had someone tweet me as to why Logano's not running in the front, and I did answer the question. I don't remember who it was, but for you guys, it happens. You know, in a certain year, a car might not be great. And that 22 team just does not have the car right now. It does not have the speed. Logano's a good driver. There's no problem with Logano. It's just, listen, sometimes the car doesn't have speed that year. It happens all the time. And this year, it really looks like it's biting Joey Logano. And it's looking like he won't be able to make the playoffs unless he wins. And that 22 car, if it can get a burst of speed out of somewhere, it has the driver that can definitely win the race. So maybe we'll see what they can do. But the end of stage 3, let's move on to it. Basically, Kyle Busch pits, and he comes out around 4th. You have Denny Hamlin, you have Truex, and Harvick running 1, 2, 3. And Kyle Busch pits a couple laps after them, and Kyle Busch is able to run them down with fresh tires, and he just put on a domination show after that. He just pulled away. I think he gained somewhere around 12 seconds on the final run. From when he pitted to the end of the race, he gained about 12 seconds, and he was flying, but nothing else really happened. There's your top 10 if you were wondering, the top 10, and a couple of names kind of surprised me here, and one name that actually worked out for Clint Boyer. You can see he finished 6th, and that's big because he was able to win the stage. He was able to get max points in stage 2 and then get points as well in stage 3. So overall, it was a good decision for him, even though he wasn't going to win the race. It was a good decision for him to stay out. Daniel Suarez, he is so sneaky, and being able to just kind of like sneak his way into the conversation. This kid's good. He's very consistent. He's quiet. He reminds me of a young Matt Kenseth. He reminds me a lot of Matt Kenseth. Just very quiet, very just, minding his own business, kind of just goes through the race. You never really see him the entire race. He just kind of minds his business. He runs from that 10th to 15th area, then he'll slowly get in the top 10, then he'll slowly get to that 8th or 7th area, and he just kind of keeps pushing along. Eric Jones, good finish as well, and Chase Elliott gets back on track with a nice top 10 finish. But as you can see, I'll show the points now. The points are definitely a little bit, it's getting sketchy, because those positions, 14th through 18th, it's pretty tight. And with stage points, with the first year of it being stage points, you can't really predict what's going to happen. Because what if, Chase Elliott doesn't get stage points, and then Matt Kenseth gets, 18 stage points in the first 2 stages? That big point difference, and then at the end of the race, it's kind of uncharted territory for us fans, because we don't, what kind of points lead us safe? You don't know. You really don't at all. You kind of have to just, it's new territory, and we don't know what's going on. So that was the Pocono race, guys. Nothing really to talk about. It was pretty boring. You got to respect greatness in Kyle Busch. I know a lot of people dislike Kyle Busch, and I understand it. Listen, he can be whiny, he can be an ass. I get it. But I've watched Kyle Busch my entire life, and I've seen him grow from Hendrick to Gibbs, and, just mature more and more. The kid's, he's not even a kid anymore. He's a veteran. He is one of the best racing talents I've ever seen. He is a magnificent wheelman. And I respect greatness. Listen, people hated Gordon. People hated Earnhardt. People hated Jimmy. Kyle Busch might not be as great as them in terms of statistics, but in terms of driving talent, man, there is none better than Kyle Busch. He is absolutely fantastic behind a race car. Maybe Kyle Larson will get there one day, but Kyle Busch is pretty sensational. I kind of wish people would, just kind of stop hating on him, even though I understand why he gets hated on. It is what it is. Yeah, he kind of, puts it on himself for being a dick sometimes, so maybe I shouldn't be feeling bad. Guys, comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the race, even though it's Pocono. I would really wish Pocono's date, you know, its second date would get kicked out and Iowa would get put in there. That would be great. And I really wish it happens one day, because Pocono, Iowa, the amount of money they both make, I don't see that much of a difference. So hopefully Pocono gets the boot and it goes down to one race date, and then Iowa gets a Sprint Cup date. That would be great. Next week is Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen, one of my favorite road courses. If I had to choose my favorite one, I like Sonoma a little bit more, but Watkins Glen tends to have more entertainment because it's more fast-paced. A lot of big wrecks happen there, so let's see what happens at Watkins Glen. And stage racing, gonna have to run the race backwards with caution. So I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a great day. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We are really gaining on subscribers, and I mean, welcome all of you that are new. And like the video if you like the video. If hit the like button. I'm completely lost here. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hopefully I got that right. And I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a great day. Peace out. I can't change. Even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change. Even if I tried, my love, she keeps me warm.